This game took me over 6 years to release a demo on Steam. This is Veredilia, a Sonic-like indie game with bloody combat and beat-em-up elements combined with speed and platforming. So why did it take so long? Let's find out. Alright, hey guys, welcome to this video. My name is Luca. You may already know me as Giga if you've seen my videos already, but this is a new type of video we're doing, so yeah, let's get started. So for those who don't know me, I'm Luca. I'm the head of Gigabyte Studios, and we're working on a game called Veredilia, the Sacred Forest, and it's basically a passion project I've been working on since 2019, where it's basically combining elements of Sonic and Mortal Kombat. So it's fast-paced action and bloody combat, chock full of content, shock value, and the free, fast-flowing nature of Sonic games, but also the advanced technicality of Mortal Kombat games and all the wow factor and all that sort of thing. It sounds weird at first, but you might like it once you play it. I've got a demo in the description, but that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is to explain my struggle with developing this game, why it took me 6 years to make this game, put a demo out on Steam. More importantly, the real reason is why my marketing strategies were not working. Why did I take 6 years to make a demo? More importantly, why wasn't I able to get a stronger audience to this game much sooner? So if you guys are new to my channel, welcome along. And thanks for clicking on this video. If you're one of my existing subscribers and you've clicked on this video, that's okay. We're doing some new content based on game development. We're focusing more on game dev today because that was like what my channel was really about, and I wanted to sort of like explain my journey with the whole game dev scene. So yeah, thanks for clicking on this video. This is my journey and experience with this game. So watch this space. Oh, right, the video. The video. Oh, sorry about that. I was just having a bit of a cup of coffee. That's all. Cheers. So let's start with the first part of this video, right? And the first part was of course, the very beginning. So the beginning of this game was, I started work on the game at around April 2019 or May 2019. And I was only a little kid at the time. I was only like 16 going on 17, still in high school in year 11, and only working on original projects. I dabbled into game dev at that time. I was working on Sonic fan games at the time, and I just thought, you know what? Some other people are doing independent projects, some people are doing more indie games. So I just thought, you know what? Fuck it, I'll give it a try, see what happens. And unfortunately, I didn't know this at the time, but this was going to be probably the biggest struggle of my entire life, and the biggest test not only of my game dev ability, but also my mental capacity and my willingness to finish it. Big test, right? 2019 was a bit of a rocky start because I was still in that, Sonic fan game mode, right? So I was going on and off with the development of what the game was then called Legend of the Sacred Forest, right? So the game was going to be a lot smaller at the start of it. So there was going to be a good guy and a bad guy. The original main character was called Lair. It was similar to William and Sly 2. It was basically going to be like this big sort of world, right? Or rather one sort of explorable map with items and stuff to, find stuff in, right? Similar to William and Sly 2, because I like that game. It's a nice flash game, and even the title screen of the very first version actually uses music from that, which is pretty cool, placeholder music. But yeah, as the time went on, the game just got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's what sort of scope creep does to you. It takes a lot of shit out of you. So like it just turns your game into like this big sort of spaghetti monster. So it's something that you have to manage. Keep your game small, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I highly recommend. Keep your game small and then get bigger from there. So, but aside from that, I just didn't know what the game was going to be. I knew it was going to be a lot like Sonic, right? Maybe a bit of Mega Man, maybe a bit of Shantae. But there was like, no plan, no structures, no deadlines, no nothing, right? So it was just me working on and off on this game, right? I had to gradually learn, because I was not very good at making sprites. I still hadn't mastered things like good game design, so I had to sort of learn those things as I went on. The prototype I came up with on Australia Day of 2020, well, it looks as you'd expect. It's a prototype. A prototype's meant to look bad, but it's meant to be the foundation for what happens next. I did get a few eyes on the game, but not very big, because people were more invested in Sonic games. They weren't invested in original stuff, because it's a lot harder to put out original stuff and get good eyes on it straight away. that sort of thing has to take time. Of course, people can get lucky, but in the case of me, it had to take a lot of time. So yeah, that's why this game's been in the closet for 6 years, right? And by the way, zero budget. I had no money, no job, no stable source of income. Again, I was in high school, and I had to manage all these things as I went on. So that's why there's a lot of placeholder stuff in there. Some stuff doesn't look that good. Yeah, music was just ripped from some source. But I mean, this prototype got the job done. It sort of paved the way forward. And there were a few more versions afterward that came out. There was another version that came out in 2020, then 2021. And the project really started taking hold in 2021, 2022. So that was the start of this project, how the game started, and how I learned to get the ball rolling, so to speak. So let's move on. Let's get into the next section now, which is about my finances and mental health. So for the start of this game, I had no money, as I said before. No funds whatsoever. I was just out of high school in 2021, going into university. And again, during that time, I was basically on my own for everything from sprites, gameplay, programming, level design, all that sort of stuff, right? Sound effects, I was terrible at, so I used free sounds and all that sort of stuff. The only other thing I had for free was a musician who actually made pretty decent music. Shout out to Nitrosparxx, so I'll leave his links up here. All the whole stuff, it's not just about the programming, I had to do all the art and stuff. So because of all that, this game was a big slog to get through. Like, I would just spend weeks and weeks and weeks just working on artwork, just working on high fidelity artwork for the game, which you should never ever do. Always leave that stuff last, because it's okay if your game looks bad. Alright, it's okay if your game looks bad and work on it later. And with me having no commercial experience in making commercial games, it was a bit of a challenge, but I still determined to get through it. At any point, I probably could have given up, but I'm actually very glad I chose not to give up, right? 2020 turned to 2021, then it turned to 2022. And 2022 was a very, very crucial year for the game, because not only did I get a job in software programming, which I still work at to this day, that's why we started getting more eyes on the game. I put out a casting call for voice actors, because I wanted voice actors in the game. So many people signed up for that. And it was actually crazy how many people actually signed up for that and wanted to take part. And we got some voice actors, got some extra guys for art, we got some extra guys for music, and I could start paying people, I could start commissioning people for more stuff, and we could get some content out more easily. I could now save up money. But even with all this at hand, I still couldn't get as much praise as I hoped for the game. Like, not many people were actually playing it. And there was some bursts of energy, like I said before, the casting call, but then it would die out within a couple of days, and I just never would know why. Even with all this lack of motivation, thanks to all the lack of press and lack of stuff going on that I didn't figure out why, I still did not give up. Like, I don't know where I would be had I given up at any stage during this project. Like, it would have been soul crushing for me, but I'm very glad and very grateful that I managed to actually push through and eventually get a demo on Steam, and then that will then turn into a full project. This wasn't without drawbacks, so I had this attitude, right, to just work on the game. I never really had any spare moments for art. I never had any spare moments for my personal life, friends, or doing regular outside activities. It was like I was working on this so much for 24/7 that it took a bit of a toll on my real life and mental health. Like, let's not beat around the bush. Game development is extremely difficult. Very, very difficult to say the least. And it's even harder when it takes a toll on your mental health. Mental health is so important, man. So I was pulling all-nighters. I was working on this game for basically all of eternity. It even impacted how it affected my job. I was not prepared to go to work every day just because I was so fixated on getting this game out, right? That's what it does. It made me more antisocial and like just much more hungry to work on the game. That's dedication, but you've got to take your breaks seriously, man. For all you new developers out there, don't do what I did. Never ever do that sort of thing. Take breaks often. Your mental health matters a lot when it comes to working on projects, and you've got to be mentally stable to make a good game. And it's a very easy trap to fall into as someone who's inexperienced, and even for the most seasoned of devs, it's very hard to stay up all night and work on games, so definitely take breaks while you can. So throughout a lot of this game, I was very disorganized. I lacked discipline, I lacked deadlines, I was getting distracted, I was getting zoned out, and I felt like there was nothing to do, nothing was getting done, and it was just like a big loop that was just driving my head insane. It's something I'm slowly learning to manage, but yeah, it was very difficult when I was a lot younger, because this was like 3 years ago at this point. Fun fact, the game allows you to heal your characters in game, right? You can like go into this meditative stance and recover health. It's a bit ironic that I wasn't doing that for myself at that time, which speaks for itself. And I say all this because taking breaks during game development, it actually helps you be more productive and gets more done. And that's what I'm planning to do more and more from this point forward. I've been spending more time outside lately. I'm looking to have more of a cohesive structure, managing my hours and my tasks and my distractions much more than I was previously. So yeah, it's taken me a while to learn more about time management, but time management's so important, man. You've got to commit, you know, just commit. Alright, now we'll move on to the final section here, which is my lack of marketing knowledge and the algorithms. So this for me is the biggest reason as to why Veredilia was not able to reach much publicity in the long run. I knew how to make the games just fine, but my real Achilles heel here was the whole marketing aspect of actually promoting the game and getting eyes on it and getting people to play it. This ultimately came down to a number of factors, and I'm gonna let my guts out here. Before we start, shout out to all the big social media algorithms, all the big social media companies who like to fuck over small developers. So yeah, but that's not the real point of this. So the first big reason as to why I didn't know all these things, I wasn't exploring as many avenues as I thought I was. And yeah, sure, there's things like Twitter, X, Blue Sky, Insta, Discord groups and stuff. I later realized that they're all simply not enough. And because of the lack of engagement with my posts and, you know, just me being hiatus all the time, I didn't know what I was going to upload. The game's hype was just all but dead. It led to frequent inactivity on all those platforms. And silly me, I didn't know how all these algorithms worked. I didn't know how the X algorithm puts your posts up more. I don't know how all that stuff works. I wasn't following too many trends where they were popping up when they were new, because I just thought they were irrelevant. I didn't want to be on the whole trend bandwagon, which is understandable. Yeah, me being inactive just because, you know, I didn't know what to do, or I was a bit too nervous. It just hurt my publicity in the long run. And I was also very hesitant on using other platforms like Reddit and Instagram, which I'm starting up more accounts for, and you know, I hope it gets more eyes on the game and more publicity. So, but really above all, the sole focus on just me pushing the game, getting the game done, and just, you know, working my ass off actually programming the game. I didn't have a marketing team and stuff like that, so even I was left alone on that. It left me no time to work on marketing, and that was the real big. So I hope next year and from forward that I get to look out for more trends, be more proactive on social media, start engaging with people, hopefully get the ball rolling on that and get a bit of following. The next reason was I wasn't being engaging enough with other creators. I thought of these people were all these big narcissists who get their stuff out and not interact with their people, and they still get popular, right? So I didn't know why I wasn't doing that. Sticking up for other people and, you know, taking interest in other people's product, that's vital to keeping your social connections better, not just on social media but in real life too. That attracts more audiences that will stick by you instead of just random numbers who won't stick by you. I was expecting attention to come my way when I wasn't reciprocating that to other people, and especially other creators, right? And there's like so many other talented game developers, artists, programmers, music composers and all that, and they all have the same passions as me, right? And the reason why those people got further than me was because of their high interactivity with their audience and with their other creators, bigger growth of their audience that felt more natural than what I was doing. Part of it though was due to jealousy and envy of other creators who have done better than me, and just feeling like, you know, oh, this person's doing much better than me, why can't I do this? And I just, you know. But that envious attitude and the attitude of jealousy, that was a massive hindrance to me, because all it was doing in the long run was putting myself down and just comparing myself to all these big guys and putting myself down, and it just didn't get anywhere. With time, it was something eventually that I did have to let go, which has been a good thing. And I hope next year to be more vocal and support other people, support other developers especially, because all of this social interactivity with getting with other developers, right? It's all a two-way street. You can't just have it your way and not reciprocate that to someone else. Someone else might want that publicity. And it's not like you can have all that fame yourself. You've got to be able to share that. You've got to be able to like spread that to other people and all that sort of stuff. And if I don't catch up on that, you guys, it's your responsibility to check up on me. And the final reason, the third and final reason as to why this game didn't get as much hype and attention on social media is much more simple. It was simply because of me being too scared, too nervous, too reserved and defensive for me to be able to show anything. And it's all because of this irrational phobia that I had in my mind that was stopping me from sharing works to larger audiences. So, you know, my brain's been wired, you know, differently from most other people. I'm what most people would consider neurodivergent or, you know. So it took a lot more energy out of me to be able to share stuff because I've had negative experiences with people and I've just held on to that. I've eventually had to learn to let all of that go and just be more public and be more open and just take the criticisms. I was way too comfortable in my own bubble to the point where, you know, I was just so hesitant to be in larger groups and larger stuff. It just alienated me. And like I said, it's something I've struggled with both online and in the real world for a long time. I needed to be a lot more open and receptive to people's feedback and criticism and, you know, just not give a shit what some random noob on the internet's just gonna think about my work. So I'm just gonna have more of a just do it attitude rather than let the hesitation get to me. And all of that, and you know, it simply just came down to the fact that I was just being way too sealed off and I just had a defensive barrier up, not making an effort to jump out of my comfort zone and get more people, you know? It wasn't until later this year that I started becoming more open and started showing off to more places and more people, and you know, the game started getting a little bit more attention, especially when I put the demo out on Steam. I got a lot more feedback. So to any other aspiring developers watching this video, here's my lesson for you. Don't give a shit about what other people are gonna say. Just show what you got. Be brave. Be open to feedback. Let down that defensive wall that you've got up. Above all, never ever ever give up. That's the worst thing you can do. And also, do not simply wait for the right time to be your best. Do not wait for the right opportunities to show your game and to show your works. Because the right time is right the fuck now. You've got to be your best right now. Do not wait, do not hesitate. Because there's opportunities out there, you're only closing them by waiting. So seize the day, carpe diem, every opportunity that you can have. So get going, get your creations out there, and get your ambitions out right now, because someone's going to see that. And someone's going to look up to you. Yeah, that's my advice, and that was my whole journey with the game. That was my whole journey with Veredilia, the Sacred Forest, up until this point. And finally, I'll just ask the question, what's next for this game? What's going to happen next? So starting from now, I'm going to be working on a few new videos, which was this one, which I hope to get out late tonight. And I'm going to be making a complete history of the game itself, not just my journey, but the game itself. All previous versions, I'm going to be showing off, discussing my plans for what the near future is going to hold, and more importantly, what my financial and marketing opportunities are going to be. So I'm going to be looking more into research and development grants from the Australian government, possibly through sites like Kickstarter and crowdfunding services. And that's going to be a lot less pressure on me, since I'm not going to be needing to fund this game from my own pocket, because I've done most of that already. It was a start, but we've got to move on. With the demo currently out now on Steam, highly recommend that you give the game a go and wishlist it while you're at it. Link to that is going to be in the description. If you like what you saw as well, make sure to like, comment and subscribe. And not only to this channel, but also to the Gigabyte Studios channel, where the Veredilia trailer is up and live, and you can go and watch it and play the game there. The Gigabyte Studios channel, I'll probably be doing more monthly devlog content, or possibly fortnightly, whatever you guys want to see. If you're interested in Veredilia, then definitely give Gigabyte Studios a look and give us a subscribe. It really helps us out. Make sure to follow our other links as well, such as the X, the Blue Sky, Instagram. We're getting those platforms running, so hopefully we get the ball rolling on those. And make sure to join the Discord server, which is pretty active at the moment. We've got about 80 people in here, and it's only going to be growing from there. So if you want to meet people who are interested in the game, Discord server, link in below. And as for the game itself, as for Veredilia, I'm going to be taking a bit of a break from actual development on this game. I'm going to be staving off development just to work on the marketing and the promotion. So it has been a wild ride so far, but for now, it's time to give it a bit of a rest and a bit of a break. Get myself back on track before I pick it up again. But one thing's for certain though, the journey with this game is far from over, and I hope to release the full version of Veredilia in the next year or two. My name is Luca, take care guys, and I'll see you next time. I'm out.